All right, we'll give it a little bit here, see if we get anybody join us this morning. And just letting a few people join. We get going here. We can figure out this new view. So if there's anybody here, if you could just say something in chat so I can make sure I see it. Come on, Gravy. How are you? Happy Saturday to you. We do finally have a Sukumi. Hey, good to see you. We finally do have a day that's not raining on the weekend, which is nice, and it's actually a gorgeous day. Just letting a few people join here. Ooh, Thai food, Desi. Hey, Marcelo. Hopefully everything's going well. With the pup. JF, good morning. Hope you enjoy your Thai food, Desi. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's really changed a lot in this last week or so. I mean, well, let me rephrase that. It's been nice, but now that the sun's out on the weekend, I can actually get out and see it because I've been working, actually leaving in the dark and getting home in the dark. But everything's starting to bloom. Chickens. I thought I actually lost a bunch of blooms in last week in the cherry trees, but they are actually blooming. But it's weird. So these are the exact same trees or species. I've got 1, 2, 3, 6 blooms on that one, but this one's loaded. So go figure. I'm not sure what happened there. I knew the snow would mess a lot of things up. Hello, Sue. Rain. Yep. Chickens. There's one that's outside the fence here. There's actually 3 of them that like to not stay where they're supposed to. Oh, and one of the favorite things, you can see these or not, but the yard smells amazing. These are orange blossoms. You can see the bees going to town on them. But this is one of my favorite smells. Just an amazing, amazing scent. No problem, Refter. Hopefully it's not buffering. Hey, Dougie. It's got full signal. I don't know. But regardless, anyhow, let me get around to what I'm going to do today. Huh. All right, now that's interesting to me. So I don't know why that would be. So hopefully it self-rectifies here in a minute, unless there's a problem with the tower, because I've got should be. Hopefully whatever the issue is rectifies itself with the... Let's gonna set some things down here. Yeah, I'm not sure why there's an issue. I'm actually on Wi-Fi right now. I'm not even on so I'm watching. I have a second phone there. I'm trying to watch there, and I don't see it's weird. I'm not getting a lag on mine at all. So that's strange. I do see the typical lag that I see with a slight delay. Anyhow, yeah, if you're not following my living room, you need to. Marcel's a wonderful pianist, just a great overall human. And thanks for giving him a shout out. So what we're going to do today, let me flip this around, so I noticed a couple things after the flooding here recently. So I've got this over here, a piece of metal washed down, but up here there's a tire, and I actually saw some other things that kind of got into the creek. So I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to do a little creek cleanup and try to make this happen. Phone drops in the water, it's not a big deal, it's waterproof, but the gimbal will be destroyed, but I'm not too worried about that. But what I have is I did pull out I'm gonna wear a little bit of waders just because it's water is cold. I tested it out. It's a little too cold for me to just walk around in. So I'm going to stick the waders on, but I'm going to stick this camera here so you get a little view. Slap the waders on real quick. All right, so got waders on so I don't get all wet and cold. Well, I mostly just don't get cold. I don't care about getting wet, I guess. But what I'm gonna do, I'll leave that phone there. I'll just take a quick look. Hey, Steggy, how you doing, buddy? And if mods, you give a shout out to Steggy, guitarists. Flip this around. Oh, and those of you, we were talking a couple weeks ago about when I screwed up my back. So this is the bench. That bench was down here. Yeah, songwriter, guitarist, singer, just amazing. Anyhow, so the wood tops come off, but those with the flooding this year, they kind of washed out it washed out what was there. And so I took those and kind of got those from down there all the way up here, and that's what screwed up my back a few weeks ago. But those, I weighed them, and they're 90. Well, one's 93 pounds and one's 91 pounds. So I'm not sure why they're 2 pounds difference in the same size cinder block or concrete piers. So like I said, so we're gonna go down. I did already pull out one tire here the other day that was down here, and I'm not sure where they came from exactly, but like I said, the flooding, I mean, it did flood up pretty high, so who knows, someone may have had it in their backyard somewhere near and it just washed down. But there's a few things. Yeah, you can see where I kind of made the trail just kind of end over end, because I didn't want to try to deadlift it and pick it up. So I figured I'd really screw myself up. I still got screwed up, but not as bad as I would have otherwise. But just a gorgeous day. So yeah, let's go take a look and just see what, I'm gonna stick my other phone in my other pocket, so that if it falls inside the waders. Yeah, it is gorgeous today, Jeff. I mean, it's about time we had some good weather. I know I joke about this a lot because everybody always thinks it's palm trees and beaches and whatnot, but it's been just a crazy amount of rain this year. 2 weeks ago, we had snow on the ground right here, so. But one of the things I'm going to be doing later today too is I'm going to be weed eating at least the bank to start with, and get this grass down and out before it seeds. I'd had this thing pretty well dialed in. So I don't know what's going on. All right, so hopefully I'm not sure what's going on here. Hopefully you guys get back in. So the chopper is in reference to a helicopter, Nanny. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why it's giving such a problem there. But anyhow, so I did pick up this out of the creek already, a little piece of wire. Just walking over here to get this piece of metal. Actually, I want to go inspect this tire first. No, I'm over here. Let me get the metal. Gloves on. Cut myself, but grab this piece of metal that's been washed down. Take that to the recyclers. Not very deep. Where I crossed was not very deep at all. So where I had the swimming hole, I was starting to say earlier, I don't know if you heard with it when it dropped out, I had a swimming hole here that was between that and that on that back side, but it was about 4 feet, 5 feet. Probably, so where I'm at now, probably a solid 1.5 feet. Deeper here. Oh yeah, it's very clear. I don't know what a wombling is. It must be something so you'll see the stand here. There's a stand up there. So the sewer pipe runs across the creek and has a tap here. Nanny, enjoy your day. Enjoy the time with your friends. You can see a little bit closer that tire that's up here. Let's see if we can get the tire out of here. Oh. Saw something cut my eye. Sign. It's like a plastic, corrugated plastic sign. Get that out of here. So this was this area here prior to the flood last year. Okay, Desi. This area I'm in now, which is only about 6 inches deep right here, was feet deep. I mean feet. So with the floods, it just packed it full of gravel. JF. Let's see what we're dealing with here. So it does have a rim, truck tire. I haven't seen them yet, Desi, but that's okay. All right, this is gonna be a fun one. Let me do this. Okay, so that thing there, the full rim, pretty heavy. But my plan for that is I'll just roll it across. I won't do that on camera just because it's gonna take forever. If I set up the camera down there watching me, you'll sit there watching me probably fall in a couple times. So I'll get that here in a moment. It's got a full rim, like I said, it's pretty heavy, the rim. And it's probably full of water in there too. I hear a lot of sloshing. It's possible, Desi. I didn't see him, that doesn't mean anything. What I'll do is let me go get some other stuff and just walk along and pick up some of the smaller stuff for now. So this, so we got that stand there. Got this going here, but there's actually another one up that way. So all where it zigzags across the creek, we got cement caps on it. Try to protect it. There is see a piece of plastic there, but I'm gonna get no, who can't ban you here? Me? You wanna bet? I'll just roll it. That way I have both hands and properly focused. I'll just roll it a little bit across here, get it over here, and then I'll probably use a come along and just bring it up the hill there. It's just pretty heavy. So here, you can see there's actually a tunnel underneath town. So the berry vines are kind of covering it, but there's entrance to tunnel, or exit to tunnel, is right back here. So, but I've already decided this year that I'm going to just nuke all these berry vines because they're just getting out of control. So I'm going to take them all down to the dirt and let them grow back. They're going to grow back a little more organized and controlled. Over the edge. So there's a bunch of tadpoles, bullfrog tadpoles that were here in that creek. Piece of wire in the bucket. So I'm going to do this. I do have some tongs I use for picking up trash. I have a little mesh bag that I use. Let's go do a little cleanup. And unfortunately, you can see down here, those of you guys that kind of know me. I didn't even know that command existed. Yeah, maybe $5,000 I might sing, but I cannot. But yeah, that's mint. So there's a lot of wild mint here. I'm going to eradicate that with a weed eater. But I typically come out here after a piece of plastic rubbish. After the rains, things just wash. I mean, whether it's people just being careless, being idiots and throwing stuff directly in there. I don't think you can see that because it's a little murky, but all the tadpoles. So there's one there. good day, Desi. Hey, Rhythm Trucker. Good to see you. So right now I'm just walking around. We'll look for some trash. I'm sure there's some around here. But I have walked the bank just right over there. A couple weeks ago I walked it in the rain just to look for some things, because I always try looking if there's something I can get before the creeks rise. That way it doesn't end up in the ocean. So I'm actually standing in a deep spot here. It's well over my knees. So I'm just kind of looking along the banks. So this is a good spot to look for stuff. Okay, that is deep. So things like this is a good spot to find litter, where it's slowed down and things kind of wadded up and settled. It becomes a trap. Let's see what we find here. I'm sure there's something. And I see something already. Some styrofoam. And so what I'm putting in is just a mesh bag with a clamp top. And some more styrofoam. Yeah, Rhythm Checker. So this creek, the name of this creek is actually called Sutter Creek, which is in the same town of its namesake. But my house is kind of behind this tree. This big barn thing here is on our property. I'm kind of about the property line roughly in here, but I'm not too worried about property lines today as I'm walking the creek, picking up trash, some other type of foam. Put it in the bag. But my daughter and I come out and do this quite frequently. Just look for stuff. Clean, like I said, some of it's, most of it's people being careless. I don't think it's direct, just people being idiots and just throwing stuff in the creek. They just don't secure things, they blow away. Yep, and what you heard was right. I did slip, but I did not go over my waders. Just look up in here. Not see anything right there. But there is some moss on some of these rocks. So, like I say, worst case is I just get wet and cold. Like I said, I look around places like this. For stuff, not seeing anything right there. That's a flower petal. I really don't need it very much. I'm kind of going around right here because I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty darn deep right here. So we'll just kind of walk around. I'm actually encouraged because I'm not seeing a lot of garbage. I'm just kind of looking here, walking along the top of this, looking at the water too. I do have some polarized sunglasses which help take away a little bit of ripply. A little dusty, so I don't know if it's going to work, but you can see how it kind of takes a little bit of the glare off. Polarized glasses are great for that. Let me do this. down across and see if we can find trash. So right here I am it's waist deep. Yeah, it's real tough, JF, to live here. Just such a horrible place. So this is those of you that kind of been on streams with me a lot know that I kind of talk about obviously this is the California mother lode. A lot of gold up here, but this is the stuff I look for. So this is all bedrock, and you've got a bunch of different cracks and things that go across. Ideally fragmented bedrock where it's breaking apart is the best. Some of this is really smooth, but if I was looking, I'd be looking down in spots like in here. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that's where you'd be finding some gold. Actually, I have an idea. I bet we can find some gold today real easy just by looking. I have what's called a snipe tube, but it's basically a tube I made with plexiglass in the bottom, black PVC, and the handle. Holy crap, this is slick. Hold on, let me fix this. So I did slip, as you saw there. I'm sure you got a little view of underwater. And it did get in the waders, but it is what it is. So I'm going to stay off that real slick stuff. So I'm actually not finding much waste, which is actually really good. I thought there'd be more after the flooding. Because usually you find all kinds of stuff. Maybe the flooding was so much that it just took it all away. Don't know. Oops. Here's some right here. Just looking up here for stuff. Not seeing any trash up there. There's some more down here. Pop top. Hey, Huma. So, but this bedrock through here, just a big long cracks in here. Even though it's kind of parallel, it's parallel with the creek, but it's still used to catch gold. The perpendicular is a lot better. That's like a natural little ripple for a sluice box. I'm just trying to stay off that smooth bedrock there. And I see some trash on the other side, so let me get over there. So I do this without falling in again. So you can see it down here. Aluminum siding. Let me see if I can fold this up. Actually, what I'm going to do is throw that over there and grab that on the way back because it's not going to really fit in this bag. rocky bottom here instead of the smooth bedrock. A little deeper. I won't go way up here. Just gonna do deeper here. Yeah, I find a lot rhythm clucker. I mean, I've been up in the area for 30 something years and have found, I mean, not like life-changing amounts, but sorry, just kind of semi-slick here. I'm just kind of going through where it's real deep right here. If I fall here, I'm definitely going over my head. It's probably 4 feet deep there. So I'm just looking up here around where it snags and things get caught up. We tend to find a lot of trash. So by looking in here, I can see some already. Got some black plastic, like a bag or something you got wedged in here. So I'm just gonna loosen this up, get it out of there. See if there's any more of it in there. That was just that one little piece. Not seeing any more. Just see some over here. Yeah, well, not in this case. This is just trash, but I'm just trying to keep it out of the waterways because this does flow into the California Delta, which then flows directly into the ocean. So as a very avid scuba diver, I always try to do what I can to keep things, well, it's just the right thing to do regardless. But I hate when I'm diving and seeing trash. I mean, it's just, yeah, pristine environments. Nonetheless, I mean, who wants to come out here into a creek and enjoy the creek and be in nature, enjoying nature, and then also seeing trash? So what I'm just gonna keep my eyes open here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna walk up here a little bit, but I'm gonna get up here on the side and just gonna look in this grassy stuff. If there's any stuff up in here, bottles, trash. Like I said, it's just pretty good, but I think the high waters might have just washed out whatever's there. But I'd like to say that there's nothing around, but I don't believe that to be the case. So let me go past this. Find a spot to cross. It's not crazy deep. Yeah, it is very pretty. What I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of using my polarized glasses to kind of see the bottom best I can, even though it's growing kind of quick. What I'm looking for is spots where it's not that real smooth bedrock. So we got a path over here. You can see cobbles on the bottom. That's what I want. That worn bedrock is slicker than snot. All right. Made it across, so we're gonna get up here and just check out this. A piece of fabric. So I have not walked any of this year, just the stuff directly down from the house. which I found a few little things, but it's actually very encouraging that there's not more. So I had no idea what I was going to find today. I saw that tire. Maybe I needed to deal with the tire. What is this? Oh, it's just a piece of slate. Natural slate. And found the first bottle. And just kind of looking across there. I do see something blue over there. I'm just not quite sure how I'm going to get to it safely. So I'm probably going to maybe try to figure that out later and do that not on stream. So I'm going to head and head back. Okay, I did see here on the ground. This is where these tongs are nice because you can pick up whatever. But what I have there is a, you can see it. Oops. Just a piece of broken glass. Get that out of the creek. Not a lot of kids play in the creek right here. So there would be like family members that live against the creek or something. But further up in town there, with that park we've been to before, a lot of kids play in the creek up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go around this real slick spot, get back down to where that aluminum siding was, and start heading back down. And then we'll look closer to the house. And down around. I'm just looking really closely here in this snag to see if there's any more trash. Not seeing anything here. Definitely a lot of good places here to be looking. Hudson, thank you, buddy. And good morning. So here's another piece of different piece of metal. We'll take out of here. You missed me falling in already, Hudson. Fell right in, slipped on the rocks. Oh, I'm glad I walked this way. I just found some more stuff. Thought it was wire, but it's just a stick. But there is a piece. More stick. It's not very soothing when you fall into it, JF. I've given up on trying to stay dry at this point. Let me fix this. Yeah, no doubt, don't. Just don't. Well, what I'm trying to carry is this big old piece of folded metal, and I still have the other one that's back there. Just trying to get down closer here. Just lost my balance. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing gloves and stuff. So I have a pair of black synthetic gloves. Don't have an ANSI rating for anti-cut, but they work pretty good for this kind of stuff. Well, I'm going to leave them in there, Edson. Don't worry. I'm not going to get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is leave this piece of metal here, go back and get the other one. I'm also going to leave the bag here and little tongs. To help with the balance a little better. We get that folded up piece of siding. And I'll get that stuff all off camera later. So I have a couple of ideas and some things to do. I'm just gonna walk on the land here best I can. There's another big storm drain. So maybe I'll come look in there as well a little bit. I'll come up here and get that siding and head back until I'll get the tire and stuff off stream. That's going to take a little bit of effort. Figure out where I threw that metal. Should be up here somewhere. I'm not seeing it. So it's possible that it carried down the creek a little bit, which I can go find. I know it wasn't up here. So I'm going to see if I can track that thing down. So when the camera went underwater, is that technically my first underwater stream, Jeff? Oh. Found. So this is a, when you buy bales of straw or hay, they come wrapped in this little material. Has a twine. Somehow some got away from somebody. Okay, so that's where that metal was. So where is it? Yeah, other wildlife, I mean, maybe a fish, but more likely entanglement of some sort or something would be more my guess. Birds. There are beavers in this creek. Further down, there's going to be otters, muskrat. Okay, well that, I don't know how that made it in here, but that is a piece of tile that was cut. So we'll haul that out of here. Let me just look where this storm drain is. So you see. Something that might have got washed down the creek from the storm drain. And I see one thing already. A wrapper. A piece of plastic. So I do it whenever I can, clean up the creek. I actually carry those tongs I was using in a bag in my car all the time because we go places and usually my daughter and I will stick around a little bit afterwards and clean things up. Hold on, I'm not sure why I did that. Hold on, let me just take this off. So I might be having issues from when I got it wet. But I do a lot of, down here after every rain, I go out and walk around the creek looking for, in case something washed down the creek, especially the creek level is higher, or not. A lot of times it's so high you can't do anything, so not safely anyhow. This is the first time that this creek has not been actually roaring pretty darn good. But I actually got quite a bit of stuff up in that storm drainage. I'm holding the phone right now because I'm not sure what happened. Maybe the gimbal just didn't like it when it got wet and it's dying. Who knows? Let me get over here and put this in the bag. That's the tire we'll get off stream. Bear with me as I cross this creek here. When we get up here, we'll get stable. Do something there. Let's see if I can get this gimbal to work right here. Let me do this. So apologize about making you guys dizzy. You know, I'm just gonna turn it off for now. Take it off the gimbal. And I'll just let this thing sit here. I think right now that's the best bet. All right, so let's go down here. Oh, there's that piece of metal. So it did wash down the creek. Piece of river willow broke off. I'm not sure if I bumped something, but I don't see any chat, so maybe I just bumped it. window, so it's all looking second. Like I say, where the stuff gets hung up against the bushes, makes a good little trap for trash. Sitting there. Don't see anything yet. So also we'll do, now there's a lot of rocks exposed, is I'll come out here at night in the evening with a UV light and look for minerals, different minerals, rocks, fluoresce. We find a lot. Actually, I find a lot of trash at night too with UV light because most of the plastics actually are fluorescent. They're very bright. Kind of like sort of mist, especially the real small stuff. Yeah, I'm very encouraged. There's not a lot of, other than that storm drain, there really hasn't been a lot of trash found. Very encouraging. Look along this here. I do frequently find a lot of old horseshoes and things as well in the creek. We are downstream of where the old library used to be, as well as Knight's Foundry. So we find a lot of different metals, which I usually pull out of the creek. Not that they're really doing a lot of environmental harm necessarily, like an old nail or something like that, but I just look at it as far as people down there maybe getting hurt, poked. But I'm not seeing much, which is very good. Eyeballing through here. So then changing directions is always good. It's kind of little glass, which I didn't see before, but when I turned around, it was now shining the light. There's a spot just caught my eye right at the end of the tongs there. The bedrock kind of goes like this. It's really broken and fragmented there. The gold will come up and drop right in that little hole. So that's definitely something I'm going to be checking out later on. Not today, but. Just keep my eyes open, like I said, go in different directions. Sometimes you'll see things you missed the first time. Let's check the back side of this real quick. Yeah, I'm actually very pleased. Not a lot of trash. And I'm walking right through what used to be my 4-foot plus deep swimming hole. It's completely filled in with rocks. And there's way too many rocks for me to get them out of there. Just like all little stuff. So we'll see what next year brings. I mean, it might. The thing about creeks, they're constantly changing. So this is all exposed now where it wasn't before. And now this is all buried. So I'm gonna get up and get these gloves off so I can look at my screen and pull up my other phone. glove out in the sun. Get the other one off. All right, take my other phone out. I'll get chat back up here so I can see what I'm doing. So, but I definitely recommend. I mean, if you get a chance to go do something somewhere, I mean, if it's your park, it's just a waterway near you, just a drainage ditch. You know, every little bit makes a difference as far as keeping things clean. I could actually dump everything we got. So right now, all we got in there so far is that piece of wire. Everything that we gathered today. Piece of the tile is jammed up in there. Take that out by hand. Got a decent amount in there. I mean, there's that's kind of hard to see, but a bunch of plastic. Got that one water bottle off of an old can, and it's definitely old. It's got really old stuff, full top. Just some various plastics and a few pieces of foams. I'd say we made a little bit of difference today. And then we have this bigger piece of metal I found. That siding. This one we got out already. That sign that I found, but I didn't even see. And then we'll roll that tire from there, roll it across over here, and I'll probably need to use a come along. Just tie it off the bottom of one of these T-posts, winch it up the hill here, because I think it's going to be a pain in the butt to get up the hill without screwing up my back. No problem, JF. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you being here. So then I was mentioning a little bit ago about, which I did pull out, those tubes I was talking about. So here's a longer one. So what you see, it's got plexiglass in the bottom. I put this longer piece on here. So it's got a little bit of a separation you can see here between the top down to this. But I did that, and I drilled little holes in there so the air bubbles would get out real easy. But I did that to kind of protect the plexiglass so it doesn't get scratched. But you basically, so you just put that down in the water, you dries down there. So there's that one, as well as I have this one, which is a little bit bigger diameter, shorter, but bigger diameter. Works awesome. I'll look in there, and I can actually show you guys here in a minute what that looks like. Find a spot of it. I did see some very interesting bedrock that I want to explore this when it warms up here above that, as well as some piece, that little spot I showed you down there. Should be very good for catching something. So when I do I've used a lot of sniping, which is terminology. You basically have a snorkel mask on, and you're down there fanning away the material, you know, let the current take off the lighter materials, and your bigger stuff's left there. But I do find a ton of lead, just all different sorts of things from lead. I mean, old bullets, sometimes shot, you know, from shotgun pellets, BBs. They used lead a lot in the day, back in especially early 1900s into 1800s for a lot of different things. Very common thing until people started realizing. It took a long time for people to realize that lead was actually very toxic. So it was used in many things. Still used in a lot, too many things as far as I'm concerned. But I do always pull that out too when I find it. I have a container. You know, like you buy those big containers, they have nuts in them or something like that, like almonds or cashews or whatever. And I just store them all in there. Trying to figure out why. I just got my chat back on my regular phone. Yeah, very, very toxic. So yeah, I try to get all that out, everything I can. And you know, like I say, I find a lot. So I find a lot in the creeks. I find a lot of metal detecting. I do a lot of metal detecting, and I find a lot of that. And I always take every little bit out. I keep it all together so I can get it recycled. A lot of the recycle yards will take it, you know, they take metals. So these big pieces of metal, I will actually take to work and throw in our, we've got big bins that we use for, so I can separate out the two steel pieces and then the aluminum piece. The one will go in the aluminum spot and the other one will go in the steel / iron. Should be good. And whatever's in here, I'll recycle what I can and throw away the other stuff so I know it doesn't get back out somewhere. But I also find a lot of mercury. So mercury was used a long time ago, very, very frequently in the mining industry. Still used a lot in South America and Africa, as well as even Asia. But what they would do, so they would coat a surface with mercury, and when you have fine, very, very fine gold, that gold will stick to that mercury, and you can then remove that mercury down the road in various ways. So now the smart way to do it would be using a retort and things like that, so you can control all that. Back in the day, they didn't really do that, so they would just kind of do whatever. But because as a result of some of this old practices, you know, from almost 200 years ago, you know, because mining gold in California, I mean, everybody knows, you know, 1849, you know, discovery of gold, and the gold rush of California. So following that period, like I said, when they try to go through and get all the simple stuff they could out, and you would, you know, like all the simple stuff they could, what's called placer mining. That's the stuff that's broken free from the host rock, or, you know, the vein, and it's tumbled in the creeks, tumbled over, shiny, you know, it's real smooth. Sometimes very crystalline if it's close to the source. But when they got into bedrock or hard rock mining, they actually mined, they would crush the ore, and that powder, they would sluice all that, but they would run that through over mercury and get all that. Yeah, retort is a tool, exactly. So basically it's a safe way to do a lot of different things using a retort instead of, I mean, because I could take mercury and have a pan, and I have done this before, but I do have a industrial respirator, and I use a fan surface. I never do it inside, but I have done it before. And I put it in a pan, basically old cast iron pan, and put those gold-covered pieces, or the mercury-covered pieces of gold in that pan, and using a torch, I've heated that off and burned that off. I've since taken it to my buddy's house when I do find it, when I get enough of it to make it worthwhile. And he actually is very into mining and stuff like that, but he has a whole system set up, retort, everything closed and ventilated, so there's zero chance of something getting out, any of those vapors getting out to be inhaled. Mercury is very, very, very toxic, as you said. You definitely don't want it in the food chain, like you brought up. But I mean, it's found a lot in fish in different places, just because of what man's done to introduce mercury into waterways, which make its way into lakes, into rivers, into the ocean. And so you'll see mercury warnings a lot of times on fish for that reason. Basically, I just try to take everything out when I find it, no matter what I'm doing. So if I'm walking around, I find trash, it's gone. If I'm sniping in there looking for gold or artifacts, it's gone. Looks at all the lead, any broken glass, old glass you might find, metals. Googled what? The retort, Sue? Let me do this. Let me take. If you guys want to see how this works, I'll go down and show you real quick how this works. It's pretty slick. My boots are sloshing. All the water in my waders. Oma, killing me, buddy. I figured out a good spot to do this. Like right up here. So like I said, so here's what we got. So you can see we change the air bubbles out. I don't know if this now is going to work. So you can see, so I know it's not a great picture. Me too. How you doing, buddy? Like I said, you can. With my eyes, I can see down there perfectly, but it's not liking it very well. With I think there's too much light reflection there with the camera. Like I said, so that will just gives you a way to peer. It's like being a snorkel, but a way to peer into there without getting your head into water. So just sit here like this and just kind of look and see exactly what's going on in the water. So I see down there, I mean, like I said, it's, for some reason it's really yellow on the phone, on the camera, but to me it's just crystal clear looking through this in my naked eye. There's a rock wedged in the crack down there, but something like that is what I would clean out and fan and look for gold. Like I said, the smooth bedrock is not what you really want. So you're looking for stuff what's jagged and stuff like that. Now I know through here, I would not expect to see a single thing in here, just because of all the flooding. It just kind of washed all this out, so it kind of blew out new material. But so like I said, you're not looking for the smooth bedrock. You want the jaggedy, breaking up bedrock. You know, we're looking for cracks, horizontal cracks that are perpendicular to the creek are best. Now, vertical cracks do work as well. It's just sorry, I was just catching chat. Well, that's too funny, Huma. Oh, that's too funny. That's too bad. That was a good troll one. So I'm gonna kind of look down here somewhere and kind of see. Maybe if I'm in a spot where it's not in the sun, it might actually be easier to tell. So this log actually has my attention. This would be a good landscape log. So it's got a lot of woodpecker holes now, if you can see those. So the woodpeckers have kind of made a mess in the trees. They do the holes for their acorns. Piece of wood there. And I'm just moving these natural sticks and we'll look at this wall. I'll do that with two hands. I can't do that one-handed. But I might pull that out later and stick it up in the flower bed. Be a good spot for it. So looking for a shady spot. I'm not sure what's reflecting. You can kind of see there, roughly. Like I said, what I see and what this sees, two different things. But I use this a lot for looking for spots to either start sniping, like getting down the water with the snorkel and stuff, or digging out. Some of the tools I have for gold panning, mining, prospecting, I guess would be the better word for it. But a lot of time, any time where you have something that creates low pressure can be a good spot. So the water coming down, even something like these clumps of grass that are growing up through however they're growing. Behind each one is creating a little low pressure system. So that stuff's going through there, then the gold is very, very, very heavy. And so it's coming through, hits a low pressure and it drops out. So in the real flooding, so it's looking for spots to drop out. So you'll find it all over the place, but you'll have stuff up in the flood golds. I mean, all this stuff up here is probably flood gold, which would be a little lighter little pieces, probably not very big pieces. But when you find that stuff that gets down to the bedrock, because it can't go below the bedrock, so it'll work its way down. It was in a creek as let's say a conglomerate, a hard pan. That stuff's kind of like a slurry, and so when it's working in there, it just takes one little spot in there. But then you don't see it here, but there's actually I have an idea. So I just put my polarized sunglass lens over this thing so you can kind of see a little bit better in here. It's hard to see with this angle, but there's some spots in there that are looking like, okay, that'd be a spot too. It's not bedrock. So like there's a piece of big rock, which I know is not bedrock, but if that was bedrock, right behind that would be a perfect spot. Just because I've looked there before and determined that's just a big giant piece of rock. Now it still can be a good spot to have gold drop out, but like I said, so it's going to work its way down to where it can't go any farther, which would be the bedrock. Through that. And you two, you missed it already. I already took one. Well, I took like 2 falls. One was a good one. Put the phone in the water after already. Luckily, it's waterproof down to like 6 feet. I think the nearest holes. So, but you're looking for things in the river when you're mining. No, this is actually really good for, this is what I want. If I was going to be mining right now, prospecting, this is the good flow for that. So I could run a sluice box off to the side or something like that in the creek and control the water. You don't want to just blow material out, so I wouldn't like put something in the middle of the creek here, but I might stick it off to the side over here. So like something over here and just kind of funnel the water off through. And I can control that with rocks. Kind of control your flow. It goes in there and just run a sluice box, and you classify your material, and then run that classified material through there. So I've got a lot of different things used to classify. Usually the things that go over the top of buckets, 5-gallon buckets. Put your stuff in there and you can shake it, and they classify it down by size. based on the holes in the mesh. But you don't want to run all this big stuff through the sluice box. In a smaller sluice box, because all it does is it distributes the water, and then actually any gold you have in your sluice box, it can actually blow it out. So that's why it's really good to classify your material. Ah, exactly, Adson. Classify it. But this is great water for sniping, because you want a good flow. Later in the summer, it's really hard to snipe because you don't have enough flow. So when you're going like this, kind of taking off the lighter material, it just sits there. It just gets real cloudy and nasty. But this, when you have like a little bit of current, it's just taking that lighter material off all the time. Your heavy stuff is going to sit down there regardless. Gold's heavier than lead. Perfect little skipping rock. Like I said, this used to be a nice big deep hole right here. And it is completely filled in. So like even here, so I know that there's a loose, so I can see this loose rock here, which is not bedrock. So I can see the bedrock behind there. Plus, I knew this area real well because I've actually sniped all this before. I've had all this down to earth, or down to the bedrock, so I know there's nothing down here. There might be some new stuff that washed in, but nothing like these big stuff from last year. So you have the bedrock here, and that's all smooth bedrock, so it's mostly just going to blow on through. But look at stuff like this. So this big rock, this rock is just big enough. So there is bedrock down below here. Of course, there's a log here. Let me get the log over. So you can see a little better. But just off that, even that normal rock in there, so it can work its way down to that bedrock. Now, the bedrock I know in here is pretty smooth, but I'm also seeing in here clumps of grass. You can kind of see where the water's got a little bit of turbulence in here, a little eddy, but something like that. You see just something to break just a little low pressure just to drop cold in. Same thing over here. Some of the pieces of metal I pulled out of the creek a little bit ago. We're cleaning things out of the creek. I'll put that up there to be burned later. And then we'll get try to get that big old tire that's up there too today. Get that rolled across. Or actually might even it's very unlikely, it's so heavy, it would need to be a massive flood in order to move that thing now. So I think that if I don't get it today, I'll still get it here soon. But the fact that all got covered in gravel up there and those holes are buried will make it easier. I just really roll it across. Like I said, getting up the bank is going to be the hard part. Like I said, I'll probably need you to come along for that so I don't spill my back. But there is a pipe. I'm not sure what's in this pipe here. It's not the sewer. Well, it might be the sewer, because everywhere else they've done the sewer, they put concrete cap across there, but maybe they decided since it was so parallel, it was basically the same direction as the creek, they didn't worry about stuff slamming into it, possibly. Yeah, so another stand up there. So also in rivers, what you're looking for, so here it's pretty strange. Things are just barreling down. But right here, you get around the corner here, there's a bend. So this would potentially be a spot I would mine, as well as that outside bend down here too, but more of this stuff in here where it's going to create all of a sudden a slow spot. Like I said, anything to slow down the water is where you want to basically look for gold to drop. And you want to be on bedrock, and hopefully not smooth bedrock. Can you find gold on smooth bedrock? Yes, but there's not much to hold it. It just slides. But you will find little spots. You can kind of see a little hole in bedrock there with just some loose light material there. Unlikely there's anything in there, but I would still check it regardless. Really easy to do. Like I said, today one of the things I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be weed eating that upper part here, the side of the bank. I want to get that grass out of there, get those grass seeds, and then I'm gonna be working on weed eating all this stuff. Had everything all weed eated here before. And the main reason I like to keep this weed eated is it's a home for mosquitoes. Mosquitoes can be bad here, so I just try to eliminate a spot for them. But I won't, like over here, I don't know if you can see, there's some wildflowers. I won't weed eat those. Keep things around that are blooming for the bees. Go back down and get that tube. I'll forget it down there. I'm gonna pull off these waders to get all the water out. Those turn to raisins. Yeah, it's just weird to me walking through here right here and only being so shallow. Just because the last so many years it's been so deep through here after I cleared everything out. So what I actually did was all the rocks I cleared out of that swimming hole up here, I had through here. I kind of put the bigger rocks, kind of also get a little bit extra. Yep. Climb out of the creek here without falling. I forgot I found this board. Hey Bilbo, how you doing? So we were just doing a little creek cleanup here a little bit ago. Pulled out a bunch of trash and some metals, things that washed down from the flood. And then we were just talking a little bit of mining or gold prospecting. My backyard. So house is there, chickens are here, cherry trees blooming, but the creek is right in the yard. Actually the properties, so no houses on that side, there's a street up there, but no houses on that side actually go to the creek. Everything on this side, so this obviously is back to the more affluent live in this street, but everybody here, their property crosses the creek. So you see that kind of line, there's a line. My finger's messing up the focus. So the walls, fences, gates, kind of go along, that's roughly the property line there. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, it really is. So, it's great for the summertime, as long as there's a flow. Some of the drought years, when it got real stagnant, of course I wasn't going to get in the water, but it was nasty. But it's pretty awesome. And those of you that joined late, so what I'm doing, I was sitting on a bench right there, but so those cinder concrete blocks, actually I found in the creek, so I'm not sure if somebody dumped them down there at one point along the side to keep from things washing out. But I found them over there somewhere originally. Kind of put them down here and then made this top so that it just kind of wedges on the top of it. And I would take the top off in the wintertime so it wouldn't wash away. But last year in the flooding, so this used to be a nice sandbar down here and had grass, and I'd keep it cut down. It just totally washed all that out, and so the blocks were getting buried. And a few weeks ago, well, maybe it's been a month now, I took them out of the bottom and pulled them up here. And then and put the bench up here on the bank. So I went to screw around with it. Just like I said, I was losing. Last year we had major flooding. I mean, all these. I mean, there's water up into the house. The houses over here. They actually built this little. I don't know why they built this little tiny little wall up there, like they think it was going to do any good. Because in 2017, there's a tall wall over there, but the water was actually going over, hitting that corner, just flooding over that. So that wall is going to give a false sense of security of keeping water out. But being the highest on the block, not too much to worry about, because it's going to flood all that stuff first, flood over there, flood all this out here. Because even in the super high peak stuff, it was just down over the bottom down here, so it'd be a lot to flood. And then the house itself sits on 30 inches of, it's raised 30 inches above grade, sitting on concrete. But in all the flooding last year, between last year and this year, like I said, it just kind of changed the, no, I'm not looking down on anybody, it's just coincidentally just have the highest elevation. It just kind of just destroyed the creek bed where I had the little bench set up, so I figured, well, I might as well pull it up here, not to worry about it, just relax. That way I can just sit up here on the top and just look down. And then when I get some of this stuff weeded and cleaned up a little bit, it's gonna look nice. A few years ago I had it looking like it was like a little park. When I first moved here, it was a jungle. I mean, you couldn't even, stuff was way over your head and just thick as snot and covered, just engulfed in wild blackberries and just impenetrable. And it took me about 2 years to get it fully cleaned from down there all the way down. Just weed eating and cutting and loppers and the chainsaw, just kind of cleaning things up. You'll notice there's a bunch of like stump stuff in there. I do not want to cut those off at the ground level, and they still sprout. So those are river willows. There's actually a couple alders in there as well, but I don't want those to be gone, because that's actually give me some soil stability. I think if those weren't there, that creek would look the same all the way down to the bottom here. So you have to be really careful what you do, because it's going to have an effect with erosion. And like I said, all this stuff that I pulled out, we'll get it all recycled. All the trash. Yeah, so one thing they changed, so there's now a mod view on mobile on Twitch. And I've not been able to figure out how to view the viewers. I mean, I can see it says number 13, whether that's true or not, I don't know. If there's any bots in there or not, but so there is a mod view on mobile for Twitch now, so I just got to play around with it. Huh? Yeah, Sue. Yeah, you're up high up once. Jackson. Oh, hey Sly, I was reading that, I was like, let me, I'm under your couch. That's too funny. Ooh, cantaloupe sounds good. I am looking forward to summertime when you get some really good fruit. Melons. A little bit of a breeze, so hopefully it's not too loud in the microphone for you all. Let me just prop the phone up for a second here, so you're not whatever, and then I'm gonna take these sloshy waders off. Maybe I can do it holding the phone still. Let's see. Yeah, I love being outside any chance I can, and I'm wearing shorts. that's right, pants are always optional. And this is 1 acre here, which is great, just enough to do some things. We have a family property with a lot more acreage, a substantial amount of acreage that's leased out for cattle. I actually did a stream there last fall. But I'm kind of on the edge of town. Town is that direction. Go up that way, it's a little ways. But it's just right. I mean, it's just because right here I feel like, okay, you don't feel like the wall-to-wall houses, even though there are houses and you can see them down there, see them across, but you don't feel like you're somebody just looking in your yard every time you're doing something. So it's real enjoyable. Plus, I said the creek is just worth it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take these off with one hand. Just kind of the water got in the boots. It's kind of some suction going on. I'm going to figure out a way to prop this up real quick. I'll just give you guys a quick view for the moment. Easier said than done. So I don't have anything to prop up with. All right, bear with me just a second. Let me get these wet waders off. All right, let it refocus. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, when I grew up, well, I should say early years I grew up, I was kind of in town, but we moved at one point to a spot. It was only 2.5 acres, but nobody lived around. My parents still lived there, actually. My mom and stepdad. It was awesome because we basically had the whole entire forest. They were at a much higher elevation. We were up in the tall pines, about the 4,000-foot elevation. It was very nice. We just kind of did whatever we wanted because there was nobody out there. And now, of course, there's a lot of people who moved up here in that area. Let me walk over here because I know I bet money at least somebody is interested. I'll take a look at the girls, the chickens. That's it. Once again, we talked about earlier, that's California poppy, wildflowers. Actually, let me go look at this before I go over there, just because this is really a beautiful tree. There's extra cars here in my lot right now. Some of the neighbors are parking here because they've been repairing. There was a water leak out in the street. California sly, Northern California. So that is a pink dogwood. Full bloom right now, which is gorgeous. This is actually a bed I'm making right now for a pollinator garden. I've been spraying it's like a soap vinegar. I can't remember what the solution is, but stuff I buy, but it's a natural weed killer. But it takes, I mean, it's not like the chemicals and stuff, which would kill weeds fast. It takes forever. But I've been spraying all this stuff to get all the weeds down. Got some other plants I'm gonna plant in here. Must be a pollinator garden. I got bark. mulch to put in here. I'll put a drip system on it. So we have this spot right in here is milkweed for butterflies, which keeps coming up every year. A bunch of other different things I planted just for the bees. Some lavenders, catmint, some different things like that. Like I said, the dogwood is just gorgeous. But I'm in very northern California, in the Sierra, we'll say the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas, because I'm not like in the true full-bore mountains. But the crest of the Sierras is this way. Yeah, bumblebees are awesome. So many different types of bees. I have had, excuse me, honeybees. Do not have any currently. I lost my hive a year ago. And so it's really abnormal, deep snow and freeze, but I keep the box down there. So I always have bees, except for this year. I'm going to try to see if I can get a buddy of mine is registered with several counties. So if there's a swarm, he'll be the one to go out there and get the swarm and takes it back. They collect the swarms of bees when they leave in the hive and they reswarm to create a new colony. Yeah, rather than pest control coming in and killing them all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do either just some mealworms, dried mealworms. The chickens just absolutely love them. I'll do that just so it keeps their attention here. So the black one here, those of you that have been on my Discord, every once in a while I'll post eggs that we collect, but just a really dark chocolate brown egg. The brown one here produces kind of a bluish egg, and that is so this is a black copper Moran, French copper Moran. This chicken here, it's got gorgeous colors. You can kind of see there when the sunlight hits it. This is an Americana. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 buff Orpingtons, and they have varying colors of brown eggs. So this whitish and tannish one here, even though they're both, they're kind of all mottled colors, but this white one's got highlights on the feathers, which are kind of like that is more predominant, that tan and buff color and white. But those are Easter eggers, and they have a kind of a greenish egg. So I take all the eggs and do sell them, all the extras, because we get a lot. Let me see if they've even laid any today. Oh, there's a few. So there's the blue one, and these two, even though they're the same, they're just a slightly different shades of brown, they are the same. They're one of those buff Orpingtons, which are one of the 4. The darker one actually is this one here, a little bit redder. I know which one lays that. But the other 3 just lay almost the same color, like a shade different. But it's cool having all the different stuff. But there's the different colored eggs. A lot of fun. All the neighbors like it. Plus they know where their eggs are coming from. Every time I feed them, we feed them with organic foods, which costs a little bit more, but when you sell an extra chicken eggs, they pay for themselves. Enjoy your lurk. Thank you for stopping by, Slide. Like I said, you can see one of the bee boxes over here. There's nothing in it at the moment. Some raised garden beds, which I have to plant here soon. Like I said, it was snowing up to 2 weeks ago. We had snow on the ground here, so you can't plant too early. Usually I don't like to plant here till into May. Usually you're not safe until Mother's Day, American Mother's Day. in the middle of May. I do take all the, so I take, it was kind of worn out, which I'm going to replace later today, but I take straw and put in the chicken coop, in the chicken run area, so they have something to scratch with, and so it's just not scorched earth or dirt. But I do rake up all that straw, which also has the chicken droppings in it and stuff like that, and they go, so these are compost bins. Hey, Anna. And use the compost in the garden. So this one here is actually ready. I'll screen this out and use that. You can see there's a bunch of worms in there. Use that compost in the garden. Once I get everything planted, I'll kind of put that layer on top, which will help add moisture as well as nutrients in there. I do have, I don't know if you guys have know the company Jamba Juice. Some of those in the US would know. But I just got a whole bunch of, I'm not going to show that because it's a bunch of gnats because I never returned any. But I go pick up from them, the local Jamba Juice, all their fruit peels and stuff like that. The banana peels, strawberry cores, you know, that kind of stuff, orange peels, whatever they got, I usually take. Carrots, tons of shredded carrots from the juicer. Those go, I grab that from the local Jamba Juice, and that gets in the compost. As well as get grounds from the Starbucks in town. Even though I don't drink Starbucks, they take their grounds, use grounds, and put them out there. Most Starbucks actually do this. They call it grounds for your garden. Usually have a sign. Yeah, that actually ends up in the compost bin as well. Would help build the soil, like I said. But all this straw, it's kind of broken down. But like I said, I'll rake that up later today and clean out the chicken coops. And all that material will go in the compost. And I try to get a layer of like 2/3 green to 1/3 dry material. Your nitrogens and your carbons. Like I said, just a good way to, you don't throw anything away, and it really improves your soil quality. The composting is very easy. Anybody can do it, actually. Even if you have just a simple little house with not much room. Very easy to do. They make a lot of great little bins you can do. There's even stuff that I see they're selling now, which is, I hesitate to call them composters because it's not. So they're selling these inside composters, but what they are is you're throwing your scraps in there, which is still great because it's keeping it out of trash, landfills, etc. But it's what it does is it dries it, grinds it, and makes like a powder with little flakes. But you can't feed chickens. Chickens love compost. If I would throw all that stuff in there, the chickens are just the perfect garbage disposal there is. I mean, they'll eat darn near anything. But it's not really going through the true compost cycle. So it's not really doing, all it's doing is really drying it out and making the little chips. But you can take those chips and put them in the compost. But or you can take those chips from those indoor composters and feed them to your chickens. All the stuff there. That's exfoliating. But I take the eggshells. I take the eggshells we have. I save them, let them kind of dry out. But I just throw them in the air fryer just to kind of dry them out for like 5 minutes, something like 7 minutes. Kind of depends on how many I have in there, how long it takes. Just kind of really dry them out really good, and then I run them through a little handheld food processor thing. I put a little string on. It's got some blades. Basically make powder, and then just throw those in there. Really good source of calcium. So I use it a lot, especially the tomatoes and the peppers love calcium. Keeps your getting lost up like blossom end rot and such. But I'll take those, like I said, sprinkle around the plants, or I just throw them in the compost, depending on whatever, so they get composted. Because the shells, if you just throw the shells in there, it takes an eternity to break down the actual shells. So I just try to speed that along. It's more manageable little pieces. So you're not gonna be able to see it, but I don't think. But there is actually down there some mallard ducks on the creek, a pair of mallards. Usually about May, we'll start seeing mama with their little babies just kind of cruising around the creek. A lot of mallards nest in here, wild mallards. And it's always fun to see little babies out here playing around for a while until they can fly, then they're off. They are very beautiful. One of the most widely dispersed duck in the world, too. But a Drake mallard is very common, associated with most people with a duck, besides the white farm ducks. The beautiful green, purplish, iridescent head. Coloration is beautiful. See you probably aren't seeing them, but the bees hitting the cherry blossoms. Like I said, it's really weird how I lost every blossom except for like 5 on this tree, and that all from the snow 2 weeks ago. No duck farms, Huma. Not around me. I'm sure there are down the valley. When you go down elevation in the valley down there, there's all kinds of different farms and things. Mostly up here, it's cattle. People run cattle on the land. A lot of goats, a lot of sheep. Grazing type animals. I don't really have a view from around here anywhere. Maybe I can see it over here. But you can kind of see way up there, just a lot of rolling hills, grass, just grass everywhere. Hi, girls. Hi. Can't reach the fence. I just got a whiff of I know I mentioned it earlier, but orange blossom. This is a little orange tree. The bees are just going crazy on it. The scent of an orange blossom is just, I think, is one of the best scents there is. Also in the front yard, the lilacs are blooming. Lilacs have a pretty good scent as well, but still, the orange blossom is just to die for. I do have a night blooming jasmine as well, but that's not one as the bird's namesake. Very, very fragrant. She's at nighttime when it blooms. Citrus from seed is really hard, Huma. There's things you can do to it, but there's a lot of prep you need to do with the seed involvement in that. But the problem is as well is most of the stuff you have is grafted for a better rootstock. So I mean, you should be getting the correct variety growing from the seed, but you're not going to have, it may not do well because it's got poor rootstock, and that's the whole reason they do it in the first place, the grafting. But I have not tried growing citrus. I've watched a lot of videos and stuff on it, but it's very difficult. Erica actually tried to grow lemon or orange, I don't know, a few months ago, and it didn't quite make it. But yeah, just do the research. There's plenty of stuff on seed prep, things you can do. I'd probably just put it in a moist paper towel after whatever recommendation says, and just put it in a bag, put that somewhere so it stays humid. Throw it in the cupboard or throw it in the refrigerator. I don't know the particulars for citrus on what it needs exactly. Yeah, when I first grew up, welcome in, Mikey. So my first part of years of my life was actually in Southern California, in Ontario, California. And there was a lot of orange groves in that area. Actually, sun-kissed oranges had a big plant there as well. But it used to be amazing. I'm just amazing when I was younger. Of course, a lot of those got destroyed, unfortunately, for development, subdivisions and houses and such, and businesses. But it used to be just great. And then the stint I was living in the Fresno area, there was a lot of stuff down there. There's a lot of citrus grown in the Central Valley as well in certain areas. But it's just a great scent, especially when you're driving through a whole grove of oranges. You know, you're driving alongside it and they're all in bloom. It's just intoxicating. It's such a great smell. Just sitting over here, just enjoying the creek, enjoying the day. So I imagine you were in Southern California somewhere then, Mikey? So like, for example, Disneyland, a lot of people don't realize this, but the whole area of Disneyland is that Anaheim area. That was all orange groves and stuff too as well. It was actually, when the park was created, it was actually surrounded by orange groves. Oh, yeah, so Rialto, so just next door neighbor to essentially Ontario area. I still have family lives in Riverside. My aunt lives down there now. Cousins. But I'll still trade. I wouldn't trade being in Northern California for Southern California any day anymore. It's just so gorgeous up here. I actually have 4 seasons. Like I said, it's hard to believe looking at this right now today, but like I said, 2 weeks ago, this was all white. Thursday when it started snowing, and then Friday. It's crazy. It's actually, so even though it's supposed to be 70s today, it won't snow here, but this week there's actually some more snow forecasted for up the hill here. So when I say up the hill, so the valley we'll call the baseline down there, but as you climb an elevation up to the foothills and up the mountains, that's the beginning elevation, that's why I say up the hill, but the 6,000 foot elevation is supposed to get more snow. Not a lot of snow, but I think that's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, something like that, which is not uncommon. Like I said, there's a reason why I typically don't plant the vegetable garden until closer to Mother's Day here. Too many times it gets frozen and destroyed. So this year, I'm not going to have the blueberry crop that I normally do. So there are a bunch of blueberries here. People attempt to listen, welcome in. Yeah, very green. But I lost a lot of the blossoms. Here's still a few of the blossoms here. Blueberry blossom. I lost a lot of the blossoms in the snow, so that is definitely going to affect my harvest. This one on the end here is a pink blueberry, but I don't think there's any. Just eyeballing it real quick, I don't see a single. Okay, I do. I see 3. Okay, so there's a few, but a few there. So I won't really get hardly any there. But the standard blueberries, which are all these here, I won't get a ton. I did lose. I completely lost this last year. I had a dwarf nectarine here and a dwarf peach here, which I lost both of them. Not quite exactly sure what happened, but I ripped them out and moved some raspberries I had come off to the front side. I moved some back here into the pot so they could have those there. Actually, this is all blackberries over here. Just out of control. Those of you around here earlier heard me say I'm actually gonna just blitz these out and kind of get them to control a little bit because they're just getting crazy. But I get a lot of wild blackberries, which are good. And having a good water year like we did this year, it should be pretty darn productive with big berries. So when there's not a lot of water, poor water years, They get very small and very seedy, and just they're not even worth picking. Let the birds have them, but this year they should be actually pretty darn good. You can't see it here, but so this is the wall. So there's a creek that has been put in a tunnel, basically. So there's this old barn here, but there's a creek. So it goes under the street, up that street, and up around Gopher Flat Creek. And that comes out down here. So you probably can't see the water. And then just kind of dumps into there. Well, there's a big tunnel there. I thought about borrowing. We have at work, because of the nature of the work we do, but we do have some basically gas sniffers. I kind of want to actually go there and explore that thing. Because it's about 4.5 feet tall, so I'd be hunched over. Flashlight, use a gas sniffer there, make sure that the air is good, and just go for a little exploration. See what's been washed into that thing over the years. Like I said, but there's all, it's just a big mess back here with the blackberries. So I'll use the brush cutter on the weed eater and just level them all out. Try to do that real soon here so I can burn all the material and try to get them under control. They're taking over the back of this old three-walled barn. And tomorrow we'll be doing some burning as well. So I take the ash, after we burn there, I'll take the ash and add that into the garden. I love figs. Nice thing about figs, and I know where you were at, and I'm not going to dox you, but there was actually a fig tree over there, but I have two I just planted up in the front up here, the pollinator garden. But there's so many different varieties, and they can handle so many different varying climates. I mean, there's fig varieties that'll grow in 20-degree below weather. And there's stuff that'll grow in like no water. So, planted this fig tree and this one here just a couple weeks ago, actually when it was raining. It's already getting some good amount of new growth on it. Just the time I planted it. But those are Black Mission figs, but I love figs. Fresh, dried, makes the best jam. Sorry, it's a little blue something or other, I don't know what that's from. Cause that to break either. Like I said, this is the pollinator garden I'm building up here for all the pollinators, and the pink dogwood tree there. Sorry for that going out of focus. I moved it too fast. The gooseberry plants I had in pots, I took up, they're at my mom's house right now, which is a joke for a lot of people to know, but that's Woody's favorite. I don't have any strawberries at the moment either, because I lost all the strawberries from all the crazy cold. So they got annihilated. I decided not to plant anymore, because it takes so many strawberries to make it worthwhile. There's actually some good stands nearby. There's another little fig tree I planted last year. A little pot. I just need to take that out and just plant it somewhere. Then we'll get the garden going here very soon. Just walking this backside here. So it's got morning is in the shade. Oh, dates are good. I like dates as well. They're delicious. So it's got morning shade over here, but it's got really good afternoon sun. this massive redwood tree just kind of blocks all the sunlight. So predominantly this year I'm going to plant tomatoes, jalapenos, padron peppers, which are used very frequently in tapas. Yeah, it just takes so many I mean, like you said, Anna, I mean, you can go out there and you can pick a few and they're great just to eat, but you never get enough. You have to have so many of them to do anything with, to make jellies, jams, whatever the case may be. But I also use these like 15-gallon grow bags that I will also put some things in. I have them all just stacked up underneath the eaves for now. A lot of stuff I just kind of move out and whatever. There's two big 25-gallon ones here I use to grow potatoes in. There's also a little raised bed that you can't kind of see it there behind the rosemary. I grow cilantro, radish, some lettuces in there. Well, I'll be planting some, actually this weekend I'll be planting some different things in here. Yeah, it'd probably need to be fully caged in, Anna, I would imagine, to keep all the birds and all the squirrels and everything else out where you are. But I'll be planting some lettuces here real shortly. And some radishes. Radishes are great to grow because they turn around so quick. I mean, like planting a seed to eat in the radish is like 28 days, which is great. But I'll take all that ash when I burn all that stuff tomorrow at the big burn pile that was over there. There's no stuff to feed it. But I'll take all that ash and that'll actually be used. I'll put it in 5-gallon buckets initially. But then I'll just spread that around. When I get the plants planted, I'll spread that around. Ash provides a lot of great nutrients for the garden. Yeah, and so you have also, I think it's Oregon, Washington, you have lolly berries, you have Logan berries, you know, things that are just very different hybrids of raspberries, blackberries, boysenberries. What I miss is that, and I know where there's one around, and like it's very competitive. But there's a mulberry tree, and the lady lets people pick mulberries or whatever, but when they're ripe, man, it's just like a swarm of people out there picking mulberries. Yeah, I've never tried growing cranberries or anything like that, but I don't even know if they'd grow here, but not something I'm going to venture into at this point. But I'll just stick with the blueberries, raspberries, gooseberries for berries right now. These cherries are a tart cherry. But they're great for, basically make like a pie filling type stuff and just freeze them and make cobblers or whatever through the year. It's surprising, these two little dwarf trees, I mean, you can see how many blooms are on that one. This year, obviously not on this one, but I usually get a lot of big cherries on that stinking thing. And I'll thin it once it gets going there too, and see what fruit develops. You want to thin the fruit a little bit, otherwise you have a lot of little fruit. And if you want a little bit more quality fruit, you got to thin your fruits. You used to have what where you used to live? Cranberries, Adson? Move some of this stuff out of the way so we're looking at trash. Ah, gotcha. mom's house, she's got a massive garden area, all fenced in, real tall deer fence. Don't worry where I moved up her the gooseberries. That's in an area you don't have to worry about the animals too much. The birds a little bit, but not so much. That's one thing about the vines being prickly. There's also a wild gooseberry. We have two varieties of wild gooseberries up here. One has a very prickly little spines all over the berry, which are great for making jelly. They make delicious jelly. But I'll take them and slice them in half and scoop out the guts and do that. Otherwise, you got to cook them down and get the stuff out of them. The other ones have no hairs, no stickers or anything at all in the berry, and they're very good. Well, I make so there's different things. So yeah, jelly here what is more like what you guys would, is your jelly is what we call Jello, from what I understand, talking with Woody. Jam, like I said, fig jam is one of my favorite jams of all times. And then you have preserves, which is varying levels of chunky fruit. So the jelly is made from just the juice. So you're just basically boiling things down, take it to a liquid, and you're making jelly, pectins and such. And jams usually you don't use pectins at all. It's just basically sugar and fruit, essentially, and then preserves. Usually, it might be a whole strawberry preserves or something cooked down. But I do a lot of canning of fruits as well. Canned peaches, canned figs. So over here, there used to be, the one's still growing back, but a few years ago they whacked that fig tree down, and there's that. But it looks bigger than it is there because there's actually another tree right behind it. But there's a fig there. I don't know the variety. They're like a maroon color, not like a black mission fig. That was the same variety. Probably came from a seedling, but they're really good. Not the best for eating, just eating, but they make great jam as well. Such a beautiful day. Literally, this is like the first Saturday, and I couldn't even tell you how long that it's not rained up here. And that's why I haven't been streaming in so long. It's just been, the weather's just been piss poor. And because I have so much to do today at the house, like I said, I'm going to weed eat this bank today. Probably not down the bottom, just the bank, just to get these grass before they seed here and get those all picked up and out of here. And just some other things I need to do because it is the first non-rainy day. I got work in that front garden to do. I need to do the chicken coops. I didn't want to go somewhere, so to stream. I do have to leave tomorrow afternoon to head out of town for work. So, but I was thinking, I was like, what can I do? And I was kind of looking the other day, yesterday when I came out here. I got off work for the first time early in a long time. We had an all-week-long drill, emergency preparedness drill. And was able to actually leave, get home, left at about 4:15, 4:30, I guess. And came out here, looked, and so I saw the tire. I'm like, okay, let's deal with that. Saw that piece of metal, which is the big corrugated metal there. It was over there. I said, let's just do a little cleanup. Just something different. We'll see if the gimbal still works after being underwater. Let's see if it dries out. And I think that's why it kind of goes goofy at the end there. We'll see. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And those of you guys who watch the VOD, you'll be able to see when I was up in the waders, up around the corner up there, there's some very slick bedrock. And I took a nice little slip into the water. Phone was underwater. And then did one of those slip as well. So if you want to laugh at my expense, more than welcome to, because I will not remove that from the VOD. It was kind of funny. And actually, looking back, I probably should have just put my water shoes on and just dealt with it, because the water is still pretty dang cold. Because all this water here, this is coming from snow runoff, and some stuff from up country. So the water is not exactly warm by any stretch of the imagination. So I was trying to use the waders, which I have turned out inside out right there to kind of dry out a little bit. Use those just to try to stay warm. But I've been better off just not even wearing them at all, I think, because my water shoes have a lot better traction than these boots on that slick bedrock. Hey, never need to apologize to, ever, for being away. We've just been sitting here chatting, enjoying the weather, kind of looking at some of the fruit plants I've got going on and such. Sitting here relaxing, enjoying the sun and the lack of rain. Well, usually when I weed eat this whole thing in here as well, just weed the heck out of all this stuff and just rake it up and burn it. And I'll go down there later too and get that the log that had all the woodpecker holes in there. I'll get that out, get it out of the water so it can start drying, haul that up and put it in that pollinator garden or something. I have some other piece of driftwood in there that I got. And I know it was a couple days ago, but a happy belated birthday to Sorrow Fade. Good to see you, brother. I so want to get down that water and look for gold, but it's just too cold. I do not want to put my wetsuit on and destroy my wetsuit. You want to destroy a wetsuit fast, you lay on the gravel and fan the stuff. It's one way to destroy wetsuits in a hurry. So what I've done in the past, and I don't have one now, I threw it away because it got too shredded, but is go to secondhand sports stores, which I don't have any up here, but when I go to the valley, there's a thing called Play It Again Sports. So I go down there frequently and look for used wetsuits. I don't mind this thrashing. Because what I use for scuba diving, I have no desire to thrash that thing. It's way too expensive to destroy. But one of my goals is to, it won't be this year, but my next goal, which I'll work on this year so it's fruitful next year, is I'm going to clear this bank up, get all the weeds off. I'll put something on there to kill things off, to get down to kind of dirt. And then probably in the fall, I'll spread straw, a bunch of wildflower seeds on there in straw, and try to get some wildflowers growing on this bank. But one thing, California, a lot of California has experienced what's called a super bloom, and that is just an insane amount of wildflowers. If you're on social media at all, you've probably seen some stuff in Antelope Valley, Carrizo Plain, even Death Valley. I mean, right now it's just blanketed in wildflowers. Up here, it didn't quite do it. With the flowers, because the plants exist, and I can see the plants even in here. Like the poppies, there's an area around us, the poppies just cover the entire, it's as far as you can see is the orange and poppies. And they're not blooming. I think it's the weather we've had, but also what's happened, because of the sheer amount of rain we've had, the grass is a lot taller than it normally is. And I think it's choking out some of these things. Because other places in California kind of stopped raining. Here it just hasn't stopped. So I'm sitting here looking, I'm walking and looking. I mean, there's so many poppy plants down in here. I've got that one there. Got this one here, but I'm kind of looking and thinking in my mind, like, okay, I think the weeds have just choked out the plants. Or they were getting ready to bloom and the snow just destroyed them. Because that snow 2 weeks ago just was... It snows here where I live, at the house. It doesn't typically stick very often because we're kind of in a weird little bowl. So you're going to hills up here. It's kind of open here where the creek's going, but this hill. We're in a bowl. And so it's got its own little microclimate. So it never really sticks here. However, like I said, 2 weeks ago Thursday, it stuck, and it stuck good, and it stuck, and then it stuck up snowing, and there was a substantial amount of snow here, which is very, very unusual for this exact location. The hills around me, not a big deal. It snows. Up the mountain, snows. All over the place, snows. But I think that because that snowstorm, the timing, because the poppy's just starting to bloom, I think that just is, between that and being choked out, I think they don't have a chance this year, unfortunately. Oh, that's too bad, brother. Yeah, and there's gonna be more snow, not here, but there'll be more snow. Like they said, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday up higher. I think they said down to as low as 6,000 feet elevation. It's not a lot of snow, but it'd be an inch or two. And there's still a decent amount of snow up at the crest of the Sierras. I mean, the roads aren't. I mean, there's a lot of roads that they close all winter. You know, the highways going over. There's only 3 of them are open right now, and they try to keep those open all the time. So the highway that I'm closest to, Highway 88, they close that one frequently due to landslide risks. So they try to keep that open because although the next highways down, goes through the more rugged terrain, it's just too dangerous. They just close them down all winter. And, like in the spring, like last year, a lot of the roads, the highways up here didn't open up into middle of July. Last year was just such an abnormal year. Yeah. A weed eating stream, that's what you're saying? Am I with a weed eater? I don't think so. That would be boring. Although, I see on social media a lot of stuff like that. Those people that do time lapse or whatever, I've seen a couple of clips and stuff that people do like a yard cleanup and stuff like that. And I don't know, I guess it's more. Yeah, stupid. The way they, I mean, I don't know if you're on Instagram at all or whatever, but even on YouTube. But there's a tons of those videos out there, and I don't know what they do, but you can edit your videos and make the sound. Yeah, live streaming would be different. You'd have no way to do that, but and that would not be fun. I mean, you sitting here and watching me just weed eat. I don't think that'd be very exciting. Although before and afters might be kind of interesting. Like I said, when I get this thing all down nice, cleaned up. Yeah, I saw one on my Instagram the other day for some reason. I don't know how it got in there. It's weird how things just show up randomly. So there was one on my feed, a little clip, like a 30-second clip. Super, super sped up, you know, start to finish. Yeah, exactly, Sorrow Fade. I mean, it was kind of cool to see it because it was just like a really overgrown yard going up on Instagram today. I actually watched the whole thing, 30 seconds of it or whatever. I mean, it was just like their front yard. You can't see some of the grass down there. These things are, that one type of grass, that's probably 4 feet tall. Easy. But the whole yard was like that, just overgrown. They did everything. They weeded it, edged and mowed and everything. It looked really great. Oh yeah. Tons of recording to make all that and speed it down into 1 minute or 30 seconds or whatever. I bet there's probably some on YouTube that are not even edited. Maybe some editing, but not like time lapse. So that would be kind of boring. It's just so hard not to be out here enjoying this day. It's just gorgeous. But normally, those of you that are here that aren't normally here, normally what I do is I do travel around, go to different spots, do walking tours, etc. Gone to lakes, just taking in just beautiful scenery. Done walking tours of some of the historic towns up near where I live, as well as we went to I think my last stream up here prior to the Disneyland streams, but was at Columbia State Park, which is a California state park, which is an old gold rush town. Well, they've taken part of that town and preserved it and made it a state park. We did some tour there. We were there like, I don't know, that was a long stream. It was like 4.5 hour stream. Was at Disneyland a little over a month ago, and I still need to put those VODs up, which hopefully I'll do this weekend. And get the Disneyland streams up, but the weather has not been conducive for streaming for literally a month, a solid month, and it's been very frustrating. I know a couple people know that I've been very frustrated. I know the stream. It's just a lot of fun to get out and share things with people. Sure, there might be. You never know. There's people all over that do different things. I did see, you're speaking of drives and sidewalks. I didn't watch it, but I saw one. It looked like some guy was power washing. But I guess in a way, I mean, that is a form of ASMR, whether it's yard cleaning or power washing, just something that's kind of mentally satisfying to the mind. I mean, because I know personally, when I do something, I look back afterwards and I just feel so much better. When you look and see something cleaned up. Like when I get all those berry vines cleaned up behind the old barn here, I would definitely be doing some metal detecting in there. That's one of the first things I'll be doing is get it cleaned up. Looking for artifacts and such so we can find. But I'm going to try to work on later today, do the VODs, and get those two caught up. So I know I'm too behind. It's just been, with the weather and work, it's just been an overwhelming last 5 weeks or so. But now that the drill's done, weather should be improving. My life should get a lot easier. Have more time to do things. I was just talking to Adson yesterday about there's even a lot of streamers that I normally visit that I haven't even been in. Just don't have time. So I'm just mentally thinking about what I want to do when I'm done streaming, what I'm going to do first. And I'm going to get that log with the woodpecker holes, get that up on the bank so it can start drying out. I'll see about walking over there, and I'll go get my water shoes on and see about walking over there and see if I can start rolling that tire across. Like I said, I'm not worried about any flooding, heavy enough flooding at this point to wash it downstream. There'll be some really fluke thing to happen. But that big truck tire with a full rim, and like I said, I can hear the water in there, so that thing is just massively heavy. So I may actually take the drill out. Confirm I hear the water in there, so I know it's not pressurized, and then maybe just drill some holes in there, see if I can't drain that water out. That tire, it's not going to be fun trying to get that thing up the bank. Well, I know trying to pick that thing up, it was pretty damn heavy. And I felt the water in there. I'm like, well, I wonder why. But we'll get that out of the creek. Like I said, I already pulled out a little tire the other day that was down here. So I don't know where I've never seen tires in the creek before in the whole years I've been here, but we've had 2 abnormal years of flooding. So, and maybe last year's mega flood just kind of pushed some things around, and then this year's flood just kind of picked it up and brought it down. But I do have it out. Put one out of the creek, and we'll get this one out of the creek. Get this metal recycled. Get this stuff recycled. This old fence board. Pull the nails out of that, put it on the burn pile. Actually, let me show you guys this. I don't think I've shown this before, because I know I've done upstream here before. So I did pull this, and all this brush is all from all the branches that came down this winter from that thing. But this here, this rock, just a smooth piece of greenstone. So the irons and stuff have kind of rust here, but what I'm going to do is I'll get this off with some cleaning vinegar. But I'm going to take that and turn that into a bench seat up by that pollinator garden that I'm building. And all this firewood, I'm actually putting a new rack up. Got the stuff, I'll build a new rack. I'm going to put all that over here because I've got all these stacks of stuff from this year and the stuff from last year. That's all just for outdoor fire pit. Sorry, I'm downwind of the orange tree. Yeah, we don't get our, I know you and I have talked about this before, Huma, but yeah, we don't get our apples up here until September. The early varieties will be September, and then October will be all our apple trees. I don't have any apples here. I have an apple tree at my mom's house, Jonathan apple tree, which is my favorite variety. I planted up there because they do a lot better. They do like the cold. They produce some bunch of bumblebees over here on these purple flowers. But they're just fantastic. But my mom took a bunch this year. I had several bushels, and we took it and made some applesauce, and then she made a bunch of little. Well, she made one big apple pie, and then made a bunch of little individual pies, little ham-type pies. Yeah, I'm not a big Granny Smith fan myself. Sue, my daughter, loves Granny Smiths. I'm not. So Jonathan is really the only apple variety that I like that I can actually eat. Just take a bite of. I'm not big on apples, on eating, so I'm not a big crunchy things, I guess, besides carrots. Like, I mean, I don't care for, like, I don't know, something about apples that just really kind of weird. I can't explain it. If I can get, my buddy's gonna look out for a swarm for me. He's listed on, you see the butterflies cruising up and down the creek bank here. He's listed with a couple counties now to retrieve swarms. You know what they call the county ag commissioner, and then someone reports a swarm, and then you go out there and collect those swarms. He's going to look out for me to see if we can't get one and put there, rather than me buying a whole queen and basically buying a colony, which isn't much, but it's still like $230. Yeah, he does do swarm traps, so I could actually get. So if I, not where it's at now because it's down low, but if I took that bee box I have that's way over there and I like set it up on here and put the attractant on there, I would probably get a swarm. It'd probably self-fill, but I just don't want to do that because he's always looking for stuff or places to put the bees, because he gets, I mean, last year at the end he had 30 something hives. But he's gonna look for some spot. Like I said, he's gonna find a swarm for me. We had a swarm actually here in yeah, that's exactly right. You wanted it at least about 4 or 5 feet off the ground minimum is best. But like I said, where the normal hive is over there, and I have that there, so in that location where it's at, so in the heat of summer, that little small building is protecting it. So that, fun fact, that little building, so this is also a three-sided little building made with corrugated steel. I actually need to rebuild it. Well, on the other side of that is all open. But this used to be a blacksmith here, so it took me a while to figure that out. But so they had a little shop in there at one point, I guess years and years and years ago. This house did not look like this. It's been added on, added on, added on, added on over the years. So I was metal detecting out here, and I was like, what the hell is going on with all these little just slag type pieces of metal? I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then so it's like, because it's all molten pieces of metal. I'm like, what the heck? So I did some research, and then it turns out there was right up to 19, have it written down somewhere. It's like 1919 or 1921. I don't remember the exact year. Is when it stopped. It was a very small blacksmith shop. There's actually numerous blacksmith shops here in town. Don't worry, Joe. Very alert, buddy. Yeah, it's probably the sugars, maybe. I mean, even though they're natural sugars, they still affect your teeth and stuff. So maybe that was it. I don't know. That's not my area of expertise. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about biting into an apple. I just never really. I don't know what it is. If it's the crunch or what it is, I just haven't really quite figured that out. It's just not my thing. No, I will eat like chunked up apple and stuff like that. You know, I'll eat it. You know, if it's in, you know, a lot of times you go somewhere that's in a salad or something like that. Yeah, I can't explain it. I mean, because it's not that I don't like the taste. Although, like I said, I definitely have a preference to the Jonathan apple. But I don't know. And I can't eat some of the apples. There's no way in the world I can that are like mealy type texture. It's something to do with the crispness. But when I sit here and think about it, there's not a lot of crisp things that I will eat. So just as they are. I mean, I'll eat carrots. I like carrots. I mean, I eat a lot of carrots and hummus. Pink ladies, yeah. I think pink lady is the tree that my brother planted in the tree last year. I think it was a pink lady. At my mom's house, she's got several that are some Rome beauties. She has a golden delicious, my Jonathan apple tree. And which are hard to find even in stores around here at least. You'll see some of the Jonna Golds, which are a hybrid golden delicious Jonathan. But the true Jonathans, they just have a very, very, very unique flavor. Crisps, as in like what I would call chips. I'm assuming you're talking about, or I mean, so I know there's a big language thing. So chips in a lot of places would be considered what we call fries, and crisps would be what we call chips here in the U.S. Do they grow a lot of apples in the UK, Hudson? Or are they imported? So I know just north of here, about, no, not quite an hour, there's an area they call Apple Hill. And it is tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of old orchards, family orchards, and they sell apples. There are some that are open year-round that sell other things, you know, especially all the products they take with the apples. But during the fall, gotcha. Yeah, I just didn't know, because I mean, a lot of things are. I mean, I know they probably would grow there. I just didn't know if it was very common. It's funny, depending on where you go in the world, what's growing and what's not. But Apple Hills, it's pretty fun. I mean, I go up here and buy lots of apples, by the bushels, several bushels of apples frequently, and then I'll dry them with a dehydrator. Make applesauce, apple butter, which is, love apple butter. Apple salt, just salsas. I do make salsas with apples. I do have a jar which I have not tried, but it's apple kraut. So they made like a sauerkraut time out of apples. So I need to try that. What I really love is pears. Pears, I love pears. Oh yeah, chutneys. Yeah. Chutneys are good. Exactly, Edson. Well, that's why I could think there'd be a lot of things that wouldn't grow very well just because it rains all the time. There's a lot of things that just do not like moisture on the fruits. Grapes are one thing that really do not like to have. I mean, the actual grape itself, you know, they call it a berry, but they do not like to get wet. I mean, they mold real quick, and it's the. So there is a big wine region around here, especially a lot of the Italian varietals, and they freak out when it rains early. You know, prior to harvest. Same thing with down the valley, just tons and tons of wine grapes. Further down south in the Fresno, Kingsburg, Fowler area of Central California, they call the raisin capital of the world. It's just, you just drive for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. It's just all grapes for raisins. Gotcha. Yeah, I know there's some species or varieties, I should say, that are definitely be more resistant. I'm just thinking of the wine growers, the wine grapes. A lot of those guys don't like the rain. I'm sure there's some that do, because obviously they grow grapes in France and Italy and other places, Germany, and so forth. I just don't know different about all the different varietals, varieties of grapes and the varietals of wines and their growing conditions. I mean, because definitely here, California, they consider a Mediterranean type climate. Obviously, there's millions of different microclimates here. That's one thing about California. It is so diverse. I mean, we've got the highest point on the continental United States, Mount Whitney. We also have the lowest point at Death Valley. There's a huge range differences. We've got like some deserts at Death Valley, one of the driest places and hottest places on Earth. We've got coastal redwoods, temperate rainforest, if you will, up northwest, excuse me, California. Sierras. The farther south you go, there's less rain. Like even just 3 or 4 hour drive south, just the sheer amount of difference in rain and moisture we get is staggering. I mean, because typical rainfall up here a year is, 50 something inches of rain. That's normal. That's normal rain here. Yeah, well, yeah, I think it was you that introduced me to the Saskatoon sour fade as far as what it was, Saskatoon berry. I gotta look that up. I've not tried to grow it, and I guess I should research and see if I could grow it. I do like huckleberries. Huckleberries, which looking are a cousin. I think when I researched it, when you said the Saskatoon, huckleberry and Saskatoon were cousin. Blueberries, certain varieties grow very well here. I keep mine in the blueberries like a very acidic soil, so these are all in a peat and get acidic fertilizer. Actually, I fertilized them here very recently. I went through and pruned out all the dead woods, and actually I see a spot I missed. So I keep them in there. Yeah, huckleberries I just love. When I go to like Idaho, stuff like that, I do try to find huckleberry jams, jellies, etc. Yeah, just like anywhere, Edson, there's going to be different microclimates depending on where you are. Just, I mean, all of the UK doesn't have the same. I mean, you have the Highlands all the way to the north, you know, Scotland, things like that, all the way down into, you know, the southernmost point there. Just like anywhere else, just a very diverse. So down there's I talked earlier about this side over here, all of our properties go across the creek. And I mean, the neighbor over here, he kind of weeded there, which I'll end up weeding down here eventually. But see down here, so they were doing some landscaping over there, not landscaping, but yard work. I just saw the kid, he's crossing the creek down there, the weed eater, to get over here. Just weed eating. Places in the UK with temperate rainforests, Dartmoor and Lake District. We used to be able to cycle to where it was in Dartmoor. Ooh, that sounds really, really good, Huma. I've actually thought about getting a little, I don't want to build something just because I want to be able to put things away. I know, sorry, same thing. All I've eaten today, I had one egg, and that was all I've eaten so far. But I was gonna make some breakfast, and I didn't have all the ingredients. I realized I didn't have the sourdough bread to make what I was gonna make. But I thought about buying something to make, because they make a lot of different little ovens, pizza ovens. But there's even a lot more portable ones I was looking at. You could put in there and make your own little pizzas, because they are pretty dang good. But then again, I said, and I've touted this before, I mean, I think I've got one of the best pizza places, definitely that I've ever been. And everybody comes up here just for the pizza place here in town. And so it's hard to justify that when I just walk down there. You know, a 10-minute walk, I could be at the pizza place, call it in, order it, and go there, it's ready to go. Pick it up or eat it there. My daughter and I will sit down the back on the patio, in the back area overlooking the creek. It's upstream here a ways. Yeah, I did make one a couple years ago at Huma in my grill. Wasn't the same, but it came out okay. It just wasn't the best. Yeah, it's like, does the end justify the means? You know, for a pizza oven, probably not. I actually have a new grill coming next week, just because the one I have is old and it's starting to come apart, and I've rebuilt it and cleaned it and rebuilt it. It just needs it's getting to be beyond what I can do anymore. So see if somebody wants it for free, they can have it. Otherwise, I'll power wash it and take it to the recycler. Just coming over here into the shade, get a little different view. There's a branch. So I do like to try to make sure, like, all the trees and stuff that are in the actual creek bed itself, I go down there and well, sometimes there's a, I don't think youth authority, but they do a lot of work. It's not a conservation corps, but they're like have committed minor crimes, and they will do they have work teams that go out and actually train a lot of them to be firefighters. They do firefighting, but they will go out and do a lot of weed eating and stuff of the creeks to prevent flooding. So you'll see a lot of this stuff that's tops, if you will, these shrubs and stuff, and the willows. But they come through in the fall and just blitz through here with a weed eater and a brush head on a weed eater, a small chainsaw. Just cut all the old trees. They didn't cut this stuff this year. There's some trees down here, But what happens when they don't? When I was walking the creek earlier, you saw all those remnants of the bushes that are there, just all the stuff that's snagged up against it. But a few years ago, they didn't do that. And down here, I'm just sitting here thinking about it. So all the willows on the other side, there was some down here. I actually removed a bunch down here myself, just to flat out removed them, because after what happened that year, the logs and the stuff getting here, it actually made a giant dam. So I had a massive dam over here, log jam. And all said and done, it was over. So I was out there in the waders when the flood was kind of backing off a little bit, but it was still going pretty good, but not too bad. So I was on this side of it here in the waders, trying to break up the dam best I could to wash it downstream. But it was all left over. I had a pile. So this cane stuff here is invasive on the neighbor's property. But so I was trying to whack that. I've talked to a buddy of mine that works for California Fish and Wildlife about what to, the old Fish and Game, about how they get rid of those on the refuges, and he told me some stuff. But it would have to be a chemical, which I'm not a big fan of, but I want to get rid of it. I need to get rid of it before it takes over more, especially being invasive. But there was a pile down here that extended all the way up here that was probably 8 feet tall. I don't even know how wide it was, 15, 20 feet across here, just a massive pile of driftwood. And I started a burn pile down here, started burning, throwing it in there, and then one day I was like, you know what, the hell with this. And so I just lit the whole thing on fire, and oh my, probably not the best thing to do, but I was like, well, it's not gonna, it can't really spread because everything was green. But I had flames that were probably 40 feet tall, and it was so hot. It was insane, but it did the trick. Burned all that stuff out of there. Being dry driftwood, it gone. Yeah, we don't have a Domino's here chain. I mean, it exists in California. It is not one up here where I live. There's Little Caesars, which I cannot stand their pizzas. You know, it's a $5 pizza, so what do you expect? Not very flavorful. And we have Round Table Pizza chain up here. Let's see, this chain called Mountain Mike's. I'm just talking about the neighboring towns. We only have one pizza here, but let's see. I think that's really it that we have up here. We don't have a lot of choices for pizza. California Pizza Kitchen down in the valley. The closest one to here is about 45 minutes. There's one over in Folsom. But that is the closest one that we have. Exactly, Sorrow Fade. I mean, I think it's actually like $6.99 now for pizza, but forever they were $5. You just go in there, whatever, and it's people are going in non-stop getting them, and it's like, oh, they taste so horrible. But California Pizza Kitchen, when I go there, which is not too often, because it's not close, maybe once a year I go there, but I either get, there's a Caribbean jerk pizza, or there's the barbecue chicken pizza. Those are usually the two I get. And we are getting, they just approved and got the use permit, but the neighboring town, Jackson area, which is the county seat, which is definitely a lot bigger than where I'm at, just 10 minutes away, but they are getting a Chipotle that was just approved the other day. So I mentioned that to Frank and Stream the other day for shits and giggles. But I'm not a big Chipotle fan myself. But I would just enjoy the taco truck that they have up here. Hey Fee, good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, this is my backyard. I mean, the creek actually is in the yard, and then my property's on the other side over there. That's where it stops. We were doing picking up some trash out of the creek from the flood earlier. Just got another piece of metal down here I need to pull up. And then picked up a whole bunch of, can't see it in there, but walked around and picked up a bunch of stuff. Everything I could find. Pineapple on pizza, that doesn't ever sound good to me. That's one thing I think pineapple. I know that's a hot topic for a lot of people, but I do not like pineapple on pizza. It does not belong there. It belongs in a pina colada, or just sliced up and eaten just as it is. Thanks, Fee. Yeah, it's. I usually do it every year. It's kind of, well, actually, every time it kind of floods and backs up, I at least walk this easy bank for sure, and try to pick up whatever trash and stuff I find. But after this last flood from 2 weeks ago, water was up. I know you can't tell because of the grass, but this grass section just popped up. Just only the last couple of weeks, just gotten like insane because it was down to dirt just a couple weeks ago. I just try to pick up whatever I can find trash-wise and stuff, so it doesn't make it down. Because from here it feeds into the California Delta, and the California Delta into the ocean. Freeze-dried pineapple pizza is not bad. I don't know. I'm more of a traditionalist, Huma, so maybe that's kind of my thing on the pizzas. Like I said, I love pizza. I like pineapple. I'm just not a fan of the two together. That's just my preference. I say I'm definitely more of a traditionalist where pizza is concerned. Like I said, unless I'm going to where I'm going specifically for like a specific pizza, like a California Pizza Kitchen or something like that, where you're going to say, okay, hey, I'm getting this Caribbean jerk pizza. Okay, I'm getting this barbecue chicken pizza, with cilantro and chicken and onions and barbecue sauce, green onions. So how are things today on the opposite side of the coast, opposite side of the country, Fee? I know you're East Coast. This is first weekend day up here that's not been raining in 5 weeks, so much to do on my plate today. Oh, water. Get some water. That's good. Glad it's a beautiful day there as well. It's just good to see the sun shining. Well, the sun's been shining. It's just, usually, especially lately, now that should change starting immediately, but I go to work, it's dark, and I come home, it's dark, even with a time change, so I don't really enjoy the sun, except for when I'm working. So this, like I said, this is every damn Saturday, Sunday for the past 5 weekends has been raining. It's been horrible. It's beautiful during the week, and certain days, there's all the storms have been, it's weird, all the storms have been coming in like a Thursday or Friday start time and stopping on Sunday, Monday. There's hardly anything during the week. So it's made for some very challenging for streaming outside. That's why I chose this to kind of do I was walking around with the camera, cleaning up the creek, and I have so much stuff to do here today, I didn't want to travel very far. I could just sit here and enjoy the weather. Oh, absolutely. Thank you for being here. It just felt weird not streaming for me. Since the last time I streamed was in the Disneyland trip, and that was the first part of March. One of these days I'll get everything set up so I can stream from inside. I actually have a microphone and a boom just sitting in the box. I just need to hook it up, get everything going, finish getting that room clean. I've also been doing work inside too, painting rooms. I've got some videos. I saw the video I took in October of the salmon run, or I was going to try to stream from, but it was just too remote. So I have all that video I need to show on stream. Plenty of diving footage to show on stream. And those of you that hear that, I most likely will be streaming tomorrow night when I go out of town. Probably just do a just chatting stream. Have the camera on me the whole time, just probably from a hotel or something like that, whether it's outside or inside. I haven't got that figured out yet. But definitely have to get out of town for work tomorrow for a meeting, all-day meeting on Monday. I start super early, and I really didn't want to get on the road at 4 in the morning. Yeah, I love here in the creek too. It's this waterfall is always going year round, so it's always nice. Except for when it's flooding out here and it's just roaring. It's thunderous. But I'll post some pictures too in Discord for you guys there after I weed this bank and stuff. So hopefully I get to that today. I'll do the chicken coop first. Get all that raked up, add to the compost, lay out some new straw. But tomorrow, 24 hours from now, this will look a lot different in this whole place. And I'll get all these burn piles burned because they're over here. Get that going. Within a month, maybe I'll do another stream in a month out here, but I get all the berry vines cleaned, the creek bed all the way to cleaned. When the water level goes down a little bit, maybe I'll do, like I said, maybe an evening stream. Come out with the UV light. We'll see what we can find as far as minerals in the rocks. It's always fine, do I know what all the rocks are? No, but when you find one that fluoresces really good, it's always nice. White spider. So I just found this. Kind of caught the eye of it. But this is probably an old medicine bottle of some sort. Yeah, the spider. Yeah, it's a white spider. I just don't know what. I can't stand there. It's just too steep. A lot of people are probably cringing right now because they don't really like spiders. They don't like spiders. Do you want it closer, Joe? We'll still Marjo. I know we joke. I know you see me joking some of the discords about before, and even the Laura stream, but spiders. People have a, I don't know. I think an irrational fear of spiders, partially because they've been, movies and things like that make them out to be scarier than they really are. But that's one thing about living in an area that's gold rush town, and you find a lot of old stuff sometimes. Back in the day, they used to throw. So I found a lot of bottles in that area in the past. I think that there probably used to be a bottle dump there at one time. What I suspect, or like I said, there's that creek that goes underneath the road that comes out there through that tunnel. Before they dug that, maybe they dug that out to build that tunnel, but maybe it was the bottle dump was out there, and then spoils just made it up to that spot. But regardless, we'll get it, throw that in recycle. But I find a lot of old bottles, pieces of bottles. I have not found a whole one yet, which I would love to. Yeah. No, when you sit down and just look at things, I mean, there's lots of cool little critters running around. And I like to take the time to just stop and really, if you slow down and take time, you'll find things. They're just cool. I don't see any bees on the cherry. Oh, there's a couple, I guess. I know they're all down here on the orange blossoms. God, it's a great scent. Hi, girls. But anyhow, I'll be probably wrap it up here shortly because I do have a lot to do today. I'm already streaming 3 hours, which just blows my mind. I feel like I still gotta get that tire across the creek, out of the creek, and then get the got this other piece of metal to get out of the creek. I need to get that piece of driftwood down there with all the woodpecker holes in it out. Get that thing start drying. Weed eat, clean the chicken coop. Lots to do. So we'll kind of wrap things up here shortly. You guys want to look, see who's just take a look here. I'm looking here. Come back. Trying to look to see who's on real quick. My other phone here. So let me get over the shade so I can see the screen better. But I do appreciate everybody that's been here today, as well as the mods. Oh. I already know where we're going. No big deal. So we'll go raid. We'll go raid Laura. Mods, why don't you guys put the raid calls in chat, please? But like I said, thank you very much for being here, everybody. Appreciate you hanging out with us today while we clean up the creek. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, just little actions you can do make a big difference. You know, clean up something around you. You know, take a walk, clean up your park, walking trail near you, beach, whatever. Just do your part. All makes a difference. And we'll appreciate you all. You're welcome to join the Discord. I can't see what happened there. Why did it not start? And if one of you guys can initiate the raid to Laura for me, I appreciate it. It's a little harder to do with the Prism app. Already done. It's going. Okay. Thank you very much. So yeah, copy the raid call. Appreciate it. And we'll go over and say hello to Laura. I'm gonna give her a polo. Just to return the raid from that she did, I think the last time I was streaming actually. So thanks, Edson. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys, all the mods. A lot of love. Like I said, join the Discord. It's getting slowly getting more people in there. Been a little busy lately, so which is good. I like seeing everybody chatting in there. So thank you all. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, Fee. Thank you, Joe, Adson. Anybody else I'm missing here off the top of my head? Sue. Appreciate you all, and we'll go ahead and go. We'll go ahead and push it.